resigned to or fearful of a certain outcome. But I'm here to tell you, actually, the opposite is true. Mm? We often freak out about certain stories that we don't even realize they run like just as background noise. Certain assumptions like we never have enough money, or, it never works out for me. It'll be too hard. Our hands are tied. You have to do more to receive more. There's never enough time. There's nothing you can do. Your hands are tied. You failed in the past, so you're going to fail in the future. Yeah, those are a couple of the ones that we, kind of just, we don't even realize we are running on that programming. Um, but what if that fear comes up because the opposite is true? What if the fear is, the way that your higher self, God, the universe communicates to you? The emotion of fear is the way that your higher self, God, communicates to you that something else is possible. So don't settle for the fear. Don't assume the fear is the right thing. All right, I'll explain it. Before I do that, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Sheba. I am a transformation specialist, a shadow alchemist, and an ex-lawyer. And I help powerful, visionary, highly successful women, creatives, leaders, and cycle breakers unleash their true selves, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, and create the life of their dreams. Woof! So, when you have certain fears, it is powerful to just flip that fear, put that fear down, flip it and reverse it. So yeah, flip the fear, take the opposite of that, and then give yourself some evidence of it, okay? So some of the fears I talked about. We never have enough money. I know that's one that you probably have heard yourself. You've heard your parents have that one, your grandparents, everyone around you has this idea, this myth that you never have enough money. There's never enough money. So flip it, reverse it, find evidence for the fact that you always have more than enough money. Abundance is your natural state, it's your baseline. And then you start looking around and seeing, like, damn, I actually always have more than enough. I always have this fear that, oh, how am I going to make it? I don't know. And it always works out. And it always will. Okay? So that's another thing. Um, People often say, it never works out for me. I'm just a person, it never works out for me. But you know that everything always works out for you. You're a very lucky person. You can look back at all the times you're like, damn, I thought it wasn't working out, but now I look back and, like, I'm so glad that happened. It worked out better than I could have imagined. A lot of times people get stuck with the idea that, change is just going to be too hard. It's going to be too difficult. So you got to stay stuck in whatever loop that you're doing now. Flip it and reverse it. The opposite is true. You used to think, oh, it's going to be too hard. Now you realize it's actually going to be so easy and fun. It's going to be like effortless. It's going to be like breathing. Too hard, please. It's going to be too hard to stay the same. That's the difficulty. What did I also say? Oof. Okay, there's another myth. You have to do more in order to receive more. I feel that too. No worries. All of these I have felt and still feel with varying degrees of intensity. But now I know it's a myth that you have to do more to receive more. Flip it and reverse it and look for evidence. Now you know the less you do, the more you receive. You know that the harder you work, the less you receive. There's never enough time. Oof, people always say this a lot. There's never enough time. But you know that there's always more than enough time. Time expands for you. You're not at the mercy of time. You and time are friends. Time expands for you. There's always enough time. Oof, this is another one. I hate when people do this. There's nothing we can do, your hands are tied. Actually, the opposite is true. The butterfly effect is a thing. So, literally, everything that you do or don't do has a significant, direct effect in the future. There's nothing you can do. Your hands are tied. Please. Your hands are free and strong and magical. Another one that people sometimes have is like, ugh, I failed in the past, so it must fail in the future. But did it actually fail? You're a very successful person. Even when things seemed like they were going wrong, they were actually going right in disguise. So even if it failed in the past, which it probably didn't, you learned so much from that experience that now you have more tools, more wisdom, more support, more possibility than you did in the past. So you're destined for success in the future. You can't fail. You can't get it wrong. The past has no bearing on the forecast of how you'll do it in the future. And I love the idea that, like, the way our higher self, the universe, but our higher self, who has already done the thing that you're like, oh, worried, you don't see how it's possible that it's going to work out. Your future self, your higher self, they already know that it's possible. And the emotion of fear is like how they communicate to you that, like, it works out. You do it. You always have more than enough money. You have more than enough time. Time expands for you. There's nothing you can do. No, babe, butterfly effect works both ways. Everything you do now creates the future. And so your future self is like giving you that fear to let you know that there is still possibility and that actually the opposite is true. So yeah, I had this, I don't know, I had done this fundraiser for my Palestinian family, and I'd, done a lot of setup beforehand, and I was like, I'm gonna live stream for 12 hours. And it didn't make me like any money. And it was really hard. I was like, it was really difficult. I was like, I don't spend 12 hours doing anything. But I had done this big endeavor and it made like $100. And I could have seen that as a failure. And I could tell myself, oh, it failed then, and so it'll fail in the future. Or I could tell myself, people don't want to pay me to work that hard. People only want to pay me when it's easy for me. I receive the most money when I am relaxed, when I'm not working hard. That's what that was trying to tell me. I had this fear, like, I'm starting this new business. I left my 9 to 5 and I'm starting this new thing. And so I have this fear that people won't understand what I'm offering or value what I do. Like, people will only pay me to do things that make sense to them easily, like, being a lawyer or doing manual labor or something. But I can just flip that and reverse it. I know that I've paid for lots of things that, like, I don't like fully understand, but I'm like, I don't know, this just sounds good. I don't know, I just want to work with this creator. People spent a lot of money on NFTs. They don't understand that. Because if they did, they would be like, I think this is actually bullshit and I should not spend a lot of money on this. But a lot of people will pay for things that they don't understand. In fact, when you think of medicine or law, which I'm coming from, people pay you specifically because you understand something that they don't. So now I don't have to be afraid that like no one will, you know, want to pay me to work with me if because like the things I'm talking about are just so different. You know, transformation specialist, shadow alchemist, like what is that? There are so many people who are thirsty for what I have to give. In fact, people are excited to just like sit in my energy. They're going to pay me 3 times my asking rate just to sit at my feet and hear me talk my shit. It's all possible. And this is really a game of whatever you say goes. So you can choose to say you never have enough money. Lots of people will validate that to you. That's a familiar story that a lot of us have. But actually, the opposite is true. Okay? Actually, you always have more than enough. You look back now and you're like, damn, I was worried that I wasn't going to have it, but I did it. I had it. And I had more left over. I've never been homeless. I've never, had to, I don't know, do things I didn't want to do in order to have money. That's pretty much it, guys. Short message, short and sweet, but substantive, packed with nutrients and wisdom, okay? So, whenever this fear comes up, immediately go, what if the opposite is true? And then you start to look for evidence of why, like, actually, no, the opposite is true. Ugh, nothing, everything always goes wrong for me. No, babe. Everything always works out for you. Everyone's like, damn, Earth Angel is so freaking lucky. How does everything always work out for them? And they're right. So, whatever you say goes, okay? So rather than just giving into the fear that is very easy to do, it's a very common, familiar thing for people to do that, flip it and reverse it. Put that fear down, flip it and reverse it, and then point out the evidence of why actually the opposite is true. All right, I've delivered the message. Let me know what you think, okay? Like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to my website, See Like Sheba, if you would like to work one-on-one with the queen. And through working with me and also through watching my videos, go back and watch some of my other ones. They're brilliant. You will learn and you'll be able to employ for yourself how I became the woman who went from easily receiving $5,000 every month to effortlessly receiving $100,000 every single month, simply because I don't accept my fears as, fact of what is going to happen in the future. I don't accept my fears as predictions. I see that my fear is evidence that actually the opposite is true. And it's true for you too. So, I love you. I will talk to you, Earth Angels, tomorrow. And yeah, sweet dreams, my beloved. All right, love you.